Hello YouTube, and welcome to another tier list. Are you surprised? Well, like I said, I'm keeping this up every Friday. We're gonna try to do this for as long as it seems realistic and plausible. But in general, I just want to try to commit to this, so ideally, it'll go the whole year. And this time, we also have this on from the start of the video. So, let me know again what you think, but I made some moderate modifications, including now, I don't know how well you can tell, but the wings slightly flutter, so... Anyway, let's get into the tier list. As of recent, I have been playing a lot of Deadlock, but I've been having a lot of fun with it, so I thought it would be fun to rank the waifus in this video, and if this video does well, I will maybe rank the husbandos, and if people don't like Deadlock content, that's fine, and I'll do something else. So, we're gonna get started. Now, there's not as much to work with a lot of these characters besides vibes, but I will be looking into all their lore, and I will bring up relevant points as well from it. That being said, let's get started. And before we get started, I need to fix these tier lists. There we go, much better. We have fixed it so that these are actually reflective of what they should be meaning. Okay, so, on to the tier list. And first up, we have Calico. Now, on the one hand, big fan of cats. And in a sense, she's a cat girl, right? So that should give her extra points. I also like her outfit a lot. But I really don't like her hair. For whatever reason, that hairstyle just doesn't... Not even that hairstyle itself I don't like. It's just, for whatever reason, it really doesn't work for her, at least for me. But all around, so lore-wise, she's basically a former monster hunter who would kill monsters for free that then decided, you know what? It makes a lot more money to be a contract killer, so she became a contract killer instead, and makes a lot more money and is much more wealthy and happy. So I think I'm gonna put her solidly in solid. Like, I think she's fine. We don't see a whole lot of interesting things about her backstory just yet. Most of her interactions are on the blasé side, or bland, with other characters that we see. Though I do like, apparently one of her in-game voice lines is, "It's like I told my son, you're free to make all the horrible decisions you'd like." So, in that sense, the relationship wouldn't be her being controlling or anything. You'd be free to do what you want, but you best believe there will be consequences probably if you don't do the right thing. So, she's a cat girl with a nice aesthetic, but it's kind of about as far as that takes her. Next up we have Celeste, and as of recording, they're not in the game yet, as in they haven't been added to the playable characters. They're one of the ones you can vote for right now. So because of that, that's going to make it a lot harder to evaluate her, because we don't know her voice lines or anything like that, you know? We just have the lore about her and her aesthetic. That said, from what we can see of her lore, I'm going to be a bit generous. I'm going to put her in wifeys, because she's got that unicorn. I love the hairstyle, the hairdo, the outfit that we see from like the teaser art for her and stuff. Her card, if you will, looks fabulous. She's part of a carnival, it appears to be, is the lore behind her character, which is very fascinating to me. She works at a circus on Coney Island. Sorry, I have to do that. But the main thing is, the reason the characters are involved in the Deadlock game, from what I understand of the lore, is if they succeed in sending the extra-dimensional or like super powerful entity, like if they succeed in what their goal is of like sealing it away, then they can get a wish. And so her reason for joining in this awful fight, whatever you want to call it, is she just wants to help her circus family, which I really respect. She's got a heart of gold, it sounds like. We'll see how that might change when she gets released. And there's a good chance that she might be added to the roster before this video comes out, in which case you'll have more context to put her up or down. I might even put a follow-up comment saying if she would change or not. But anywho, what we got, there's nothing wrong with her. We just don't have enough info to put her in the highest of high tiers, you know. So she's in wifeys, which is, you know, again, A tier, just not S tier. Next up we have Graves. She's a high schooler. No. Haze. She's a bit weird. Literally, figuratively, like, aesthetically. She's part of the Occult Security and Investigation Commission. Basically this weird organization that makes, according to them, the CIA look transparent. But her role in it is she actually infiltrates people's dreams to determine if they are a threat. And if they are a threat, then she's also an assassin that can take them down. I'm actually going to put her in wifeys below Celeste, because here's the thing, right? I have some weird, fun, adventurous dreams. Like, I have high fantasy D&D-esque dreams sometimes. I have dreams where I'm in shows, but, like, I know the plot and I'm able to influence things. Like, I have really fun dreams most of the time. And if she could enter my dreams and hang out with me in them, it'd be like, you know, you're dating and having fun when you're, you know, doing things together, playing games, yada, yada, yada. And then even when you're sleeping, it's like you're still having fun with your partner. Like, that'd be pretty awesome. That said, that is a generous interpretation of her. And her personality is a little bland. She's kind of just a weird killer lady. But, you know, we don't know too much about her, and as the game gets further along, more information about the characters will likely come out. We'll get to see more of the personality as more character interactions pop up from new characters, yeah, stuff like that. And just maybe there's a chance she's actually as sweet and longing for connection as I'm imagining in my head in the future. But for now, I'm ranking her off of her potential, and her ability to enter dreams seems like it'd be a lot of fun, so we're gonna put her there. And one point that works in my favor a little bit for that as well is, according to some random tidbits of information about her, she knows Grey Talon, another character, and when his son died, she sent him a card to make him feel better. So she has a heart at least, so keeping her in wifeys. Next up, we have Holliday. Small town sheriff with a big time legacy, being that she is the, I believe, granddaughter of the Doc Holliday, the infamous, you know, gunslinger. And her gun is actually his, handed down and maintained through the family that she inherited from her father. But anywho, so Holliday was just a pretty relaxed sheriff who only used her gun for trick shots at like fairs before a bunch of murders happened in her town, and she decided to try to track down the occult murderer, which leads her to the events of the game, essentially. And so she's got that southern vibe, but for me, she's a little boring. There's not really much about her personality-wise that we see other than that she's, you know, trying to hunt down this troubadour, is what he goes by, who killed a bunch of people in her town and then disappeared, and she tracked him down to the events of the game, essentially, where those take place. So she's looking for him, and she's very vigilant, and she's very good at her job from what it seems like, and takes it seriously. She also has been already married more than once, so that's kind of pushing her further down. She's already been divorced at least once or twice, so I like her aesthetic. I like cowboy vibes a ton, and 6-shooter is one of my favorite type weapons, generally speaking, but I just find her a little boring. Next up, we have Ivy. Now, this one might be one of my classical hot takes, but she's going up in the deadlock me between your thighs. So, for those that don't know, she's a gargoyle that suddenly sprang to life when 2 humans were being attacked. A little kid, it seems like, and like an adult, because the lore refers to it as a big human and a small human. So she suddenly sprang to life and defended the 2 humans and scared off the attackers. Basically, she is just a cinnamon bun type of character. She's very sweet, caring. She's very funny and fun in a lot of the interactions we have that we see with her. But also, you know me, I'm a big fan of like monster girl type aesthetics, and I absolutely love her like general aesthetic, her outfit. You know, I don't know. I really dig her entire getup, and obviously, like I mentioned, she's a very nice, kind character. And not only is she, you know, nice from her voice lines and like her backstory, but also most characters that end up fighting into or killing her in game end up feeling really bad about it. So that really just tells you that she's sort of just like this bundle of joy that everybody likes having around them. So for now, she's gonna be going up in here. Don't know if she'll stay at the top. We'll kind of see how things go from here, but she definitely belongs in the top highest tier for me. So next up, we have Lady Gheist. She's gonna be a bit of a tricky one, so I'm gonna have to talk my way through my thoughts before I end up deciding on where to put her. So she was a noblewoman, you know, the talk of the town, like invited to every party, all the balls. Very lovely, as you can tell, a very attractive woman who got older and could no longer do those things until eventually she was at the age where she was in a nursing home simply telling stories of her exciting past to the residents there that would listen to her, and many of them probably not even believing her stories, or, you know, you're full of hoagie type of thing. Then she started to hear a voice that offered her a chance to regain her former glory. An entity known as the, what is it, the Oathbreaker? Sorry, Oathkeeper. Sorry, very different vibes. The Oathkeeper reached out to her and offered her to get her age, get her grace, her beauty, get a chance at her old life back. All she'd have to do is this teeny tiny little thing of draining the life essence of others. Naturally, killing people is pretty fucked up, especially if it's just to make you look beautiful and young. But she decided to agree with it, but on her sort of terms. So she created a warding circle before she took his bargain, and like has him bound there so that she kills people on her terms, not his, so he doesn't get out of control and make her into a serial killer. And the reason she's taking place in the game is because over the years the ward has gotten weaker and weaker. So on the one hand, obviously very attractive. She was a noblewoman as well, so she's likely very wealthy, has like a lot of money under her, which, as I've said in previous videos, is a positive for me. I'm not gonna lie, like, financial stability is something very desirable. That's gonna put her up higher than, you know, just by that factor alone. But on the other hand, she has to kill people to stay young, otherwise she'll probably rapidly age. But maybe, depending on the rate that she ages, maybe she'll turn into a gilf and still be, you know, pretty nice. But yeah, the fact that she kills people a lot makes it really unlikely a relationship could last that long, because either A, eventually it'll come back to her, she'll get caught and arrested or something, and or killed, if they realize they can't detain her in a prison because of her powers. Or, more likely outcome, B, she ends up draining my life and killing me. So, as much as I would like to put her, from aesthetics and whatnot, up higher, I'm gonna put her in the no. I was tempted to put her in Y because of the whole money thing, but, you know, I like my life. I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather not die, so we're gonna just keep her there for now. McGinnis. So, on the one hand, she's a muscle mommy who is a brilliant inventor, very, very smart, creative, but on the other hand, she is obsessed with, like, tinkering and inventing things to the point where I don't think she would really be interested in a relationship, and if she was in one, she would spend 80% of her time on her hobbies anyways. So, as much as I would like to put her high up because I like her, you know, I'm a big fan of muscle mommies, I'm gonna have to put her probably in boring, because at the end of the day, like I said, she just wouldn't put much into the relationship, I don't think. She seems nice enough and everything, but, like, I don't really see much coming from a relationship with her, you know? So, next up we have Mina, and this is gonna be another tough one for me. Not because I don't know where to place her. Oh, no. I know exactly where she's going. The difficulty comes from me having to separate my in-game hatred of this character from where I would end up actually ranking her in a list like this, which... she's going up there. Goddamn if she isn't one of the most annoying characters to deal with in the game. But she ticks so many boxes for me that, you know, there's just, my hands are tied here. I'm sorry for those of you that can't stand Mina just like me in game. I know, I feel your pain. I know you may not think that she deserves to be this high up on a list, but it's just the truth. So, she is a vampire for the first hand. That automatically makes it so that she can't go anywhere below Snooze Fest, because just by nature of being a vampire, for me, that's just... Vampires are some of my all-time favorite, like, creatures or mythological... whatever they'd be classified as, cryptids, I don't know, you know. They're probably in my top 3 for all-time favorite, so her being one of them, which would therefore give me potential to become one of them, already puts her so high up the list. But she's also got that I really like her outfit in general aesthetic a lot. You know, that black and red umbrella really kind of pulls the whole look together a bit too, which is pretty nice. And as I've mentioned earlier, she's absolutely fucking loaded. Like, her parents were very wealthy. She was gonna get even more wealthy before she became a vampire. She was basically betrothed, married into, like, the biggest family in the country type of thing. and then the person she was betrothed to got assassinated before their marriage, and she was a spoiled rich girl, so the lore literally says, so Mina did what she always does when things don't go her way. She told her parents to fix it. And so they arranged to have a vampire turn her or make her immortal, and she also got a trust fund to go with it, so she got, a bunch of money as well. Also says in the lore, Mina thought the idea of eternal youth and a trust fund was an acceptable plan B, and happily agreed. So, she's loaded. She's a vampire. She's an attractive vampire at that, with a great sense of fashion. She's constantly growing stronger as well, because, literally, it is both in-game and in lore she is growing in power, and she ends up... Her goal is to become the leader of the vampires, essentially, in the city that the game takes place in. She wants to be the Viscount of New York, which is where the events take place. So, she's ambitious. She's getting stronger and stronger. It's just... The only negative against her is that she is a spoiled, rich kid. But that's not enough for me to lower her down into wifeys, because everything else for me is working for her, and it's just unfortunate, but that's just how that's just the world we live in. I'm sorry it's not fair and it's cruel, but that's just the way things are. Next up, we have Paige. It's gonna be tricky for me to decide between these two tiers. For now, I'm gonna place her here, and I'll talk about her more. So, like her aesthetic. God, I need to find out a new word. I use that all too much. As I've been editing my videos, I realize I say that all the time. I mean, it makes sense when you're talking about characters that you're going to talk about the way they look, and that's just a good word that is more than just superficially saying they're hot. It's talked about the whole package, the way the way their outfit ties into their look, the way their personality feeds into it, their vibe, their demeanor, aesthetic is the whole package, whereas, looks is only one angle. So I like that word for that. But anywho, I like her aesthetic. I will say it as many times as I need to, I guess. I really do like the fact that she is a kind-hearted individual, born and raised to be kind-hearted. And she really just seems to be a kind-hearted individual, because, as evidenced by the fact that she liked reading a lot. She's a book nerd, and loved stories, and the magic she learned or she studied was magic that makes the books come to life. And she was originally living as a storyteller, opening a page of books, reading them to kids that and having things come out of the books to make the kids enjoy the reading more and stuff, which is very kind and sweet and whatnot. But the reason she comes to the game is she's trying to figure out what happened to her brother, who got kicked out of the house, and she wants to figure out why, because he was rebellious, but she didn't know what he did to get kicked out of the house, so she wants to figure that out and maybe help him. So, very nice person. I think I'm gonna leave her in wifeys, because the only thing keeping her below Deadlock Me Between Your Thighs is there's no X factor for me here. These two have X factors of vampire, monster girl. I'm a big fan of those. Those put them up out of wifeys into that for me. With her, I guess she can turn books into reality. No, we're gonna put her bottom of Deadlock Me, because at the end of the day, as I'm thinking about it, she could take a book about D&D potentially, and maybe make a dragon come out of it, which, funnily enough, is one of her abilities, but it's a tiny dragon. I'm talking a full-size dragon or something, and that we could ride around, or who knows. Her magic could make the things a lot more fun. So we're gonna put her there, probably gonna stay at the bottom of there, and there's a very good chance as well that she could be similar to McGinnis in that she loves reading so much that she might want to spend most of the time in their relationship reading. It could be another 80-20 split. But I feel like the 20% with her would be a lot more interesting than the 20% spending with her. So that'll put her there for now. Next up, we have Paradox, and fitting to her name, there's not a lot that we know about this character. They don't make a lot of sense. So all we know about them is that they are she, for one. At least this particular one I'm going to be ranking as a she. But Paradox is also the group of a notorious thieves guild that uses basically time manipulation powers to steal from anything and anyone. But given how little we know about her, not even know what they look like, though I do like that mask, I guess, or the helmet, or whatever you want to call it. And her outfit is, in general, kind of nice. So we're going to put her in Y for now, because, there's just nothing to work with. What do I get out of it? What would be the point of it? There just isn't anything to work with, so I can't put her anywhere else. Next up, we have Silver. This is going to be the easiest one of the list so far for me. I'll rearrange things as we go. For now, I'm just going to put her here. Like I mentioned earlier, a big fan of vampires. Also a huge fan of werewolves. And especially female werewolf aesthetic. Just does a bit... Oh, I'm not even able to articulate right now because it really does a lot for me. That said, she's more than just a female werewolf, you know? Like, there is more to discuss than that. So she is, as they put, kind of like a hot mess. So she's a bounty hunter, but the only reason she bounty hunts is because she doesn't think she's good at anything else, and she needs to keep the lights on. But most of her money is going to, like, alcohol and rent, essentially. She's got some self-destructive habits, and according to an ex-partner of hers, I don't know if that refers to, like, ex-bounty hunter partner or, like, actual romantic partner, but she likes to push people away, which is going to probably put her towards the bottom side of Deadlock me. And she also can't control her will of transformations, which, for some of you, that might be a real big deal breaker, but, you know, if we're in the middle of an intimate moment and she goes feral, more power to her. You know, that's a-okay with me. Both of her forms can get it as far as I'm concerned, so she's gonna go probably like lower end of Deadlock me, just because, and not to try to like be a, you know, savior complex or like anything, or like even like a psychiatrist for her, but like I do think trying to help her get past that would be fulfilling her personal grievances. She thinks very low of herself, which again is not to say that people need to be fixed or that I should be empowered to do that. But, you know, part of relationships, too, is growing together as a couple as well as individuals. I feel like in a healthy relationship, you're going to improve because you want to improve for the sake of, you know, the people around you. So I feel like it would be a fulfilling part of the relationship of just potentially seeing her grow, me trying to... Because I can be a very stubborn person, so she could try her damn hardest to push me away, but I wouldn't make it easy on her, and so at the very least, I think it would be, you know, engaging and interesting to see how things go in that regard. So, yeah, that's where she's gonna go for now. Next up, we have Vindicta, and so she's an interesting case. So she was a victim during the Salem witch trials way back when, yes, that long ago. But she was only recently woken up by supernatural things happening. And honestly, to her credit, the fact that she was unjustly burned at the, you know, killed by being burned at the stake during the Salem witch trials, and she came back not as a vengeful ghost trying to kill people, but as one that seeks instead to protect other supernatural or weird entities similar to her, honestly speaks volumes about her as a character and as a person. We don't know a whole lot about her beyond that. Like, she has some interactions with other characters, and she seems to look out for certain other characters, but, and she wants to take down a basic, you know, like a evil organization called the Friends of Humanity that just wants to kill everybody that isn't humans, essentially. So automatically that puts them on the top of my shit list because, you know, look at how high up so many of my things are that would be not human by their definition. So, anywho. I think I'm going to put her, though, in Waifus for now. I'm going to put her at the top of Waifus, I think. It's hard to tell if she would be able to physically be intimate and that she's a ghost girl. Though I would be leaning more towards yes, because you can shoot and melee her in the game, so... I'm assuming she has a tangible body, or she can at least have it be tangible, or something to that effect. And she seems, like, very... No, you know what? No, everything we know about her is a green flag, honestly. Aside from the fact that she was killed, you know, unjustly, which is, again, isn't her fault or anything. So I don't think she has as much going for her, though, that, like, in the X Factor category as the rest of these. Though being a ghost is cool and great, don't get me wrong, like, it's very interesting, but I don't think I would value it as much as her ability with her magic. I wouldn't value it as much as a werewolf, vampire, gargoyle either. So I think she's gonna go at the bottom of Deadlock me. So there we go. Next up, we have Vyper. So she's an interesting case. Even though many people wouldn't be interested or like into the body type / aesthetic she has, I like weird, monstrous, you know, aesthetics and whatnot. Like I'm a-okay with the way she looks. Like that doesn't bother me in the slightest. That said, as far as personality goes, she's very charming and kind. Well, maybe kind isn't the right word, but she's very positive oriented and generally charming. But the issue is that's gonna keep her just in solid for me. I'm gonna put her above Calico, I think. Is that she is a criminal through and through that is kind of bad at her job too. She's been arrested in basically every single prison in like several states. But she, as good as she is at getting arrested, she's even better breaking out. So she's broken out of every single prison she's been into. But either way, if I was to be in a relationship with her, I feel like, you know, having to constantly worry about whether or not she's going to be arrested, if we're going to have to move to a new city so that we don't have the cops tailing us as aggressively, all that stuff. You know, I think that would really detract from this overall relationship a bit. Actually, you know, I think that would put her below Calico for me, just because with Calico, it'd probably be fairly stable. Yeah, we're going to put Vyper there, I think. Next up, we have Wraith. So, I mean, Wraith, I'm going to put her in Waifus, I believe. So, very attractive, physically, very nice outfit, very dapper, very charming. I like a lot of her. So, she's got the looks going for her. She's also wealthy, like I mentioned before, being a big pushing point for me, because she runs a gambling ring that, you know, is very clearly, as you can tell by her aesthetic, mafia-esque and criminal, but she's also so wealthy and she's paid off so many individuals and she's got so much leverage that everybody knows it, but nobody can do anything about it type of thing. So she's very wealthy, and, you know, I'm honestly pretty sure that she would enjoy having somebody to riff and banter with and probably even be intimate with. She's got some pretty funny voice lines, like when you select or unselect your character, like, if you think crime doesn't pay, you're outrageously bad at crime. And see, I bet you were gonna do that. I just made $5 when you unselect her and stuff. Like, she's got some funny, she's very clearly got a lot of humor to her and some funny lines. So I think she'd be fun to riff off of as well. So we're gonna go like that, I think. Next and last on the list, we have Yamato. And she's gonna go on the no for me as well. I'm gonna put her, oops, sorry, more of a no than Lady Gheist, but less of a no than great. So, A, what the fuck is the shape of her head? She looks like she's got a freaking eggplant for a head. Like, her head is so tall and weird looking anyways. B, every interaction she has with, like, other characters in the game, she just sounds like and seems like a big bitch. Like, all of her comments are, like, demeaning and cruel and just rude, and, like, she doesn't have any lines that I could find that give her, like, redeeming qualities or anything, other than the fact that she cared deeply about her brother, who was also a shitbag, basically. So she just doesn't really have anything going for her. I don't like her aesthetic. She doesn't have any, like, X factor that would bring her even up into the Y category, and she just seems like a bitch. So yeah, I'd rather risk Lady Gheist, you know, draining my life than just being with her. So we're gonna put that in there. So let me do a quick run back to see if I want to rearrange any of these. Not that there's a ton of them. So we actually did do some rearranging. So going left to right, with leftmost being the best in each category. So we have Mina at the top because the negatives against her or for me are less than the negatives against Silver. And they both are pretty similar in their X factor, like their special factor, whatever you want to call it, that like puts them up so high for me. So I have Mina at the top. Silver is next because I think she's just more interesting and engaging to me as a character. I'm much more interested in Werewolf Girl than I am in Gargoyle Girl as far as like a general concept. So that puts her above Ivy for me a little bit, even though Ivy's personality is a bit better. So, and there you have it. That is the list. I also moved Wraith to the top of Waifus because I think she's pretty fun, fun-loving partner to have, even if she's, you know, a criminal. So there we have it. Let me know your thoughts. If you want me to do ranking all the dudes tier list next, let me know. We can do that as well. But until next time, stay healthy.